Hey guys. Sorry about the wind noise in the last video. I'm going to use 2 socks this time on the mic. In this video we're going to talk about cutouts and EUC reliability. Some of you know, if you've been watching from way back, I've had 2 cutouts, but really 3. I don't know if you count the first one. So the first one, it was on my Kingsong 16X, and it was in braking, so I was braking too hard basically. The way it works, when you brake, you recharge the battery, you send current back into the battery as opposed to drawing current from the battery, right? It's the opposite of getting the batteries to get you to move. Basically, you're using your momentum to recharge the batteries. And the cells have a limit where, on average, it depends on the chemistry, but like they normally limit it, let's say 20 amps per cell. And if you exceed that current, it'll just cut out to protect the batteries from charging too fast. And that happened to me on the 16X because I braked. Is it braked or broke? I don't know, but I broke really hard and I nearly broke my freaking wheel too because it cut out, and then it just it did break my wheel. It broke the casing and all that. And that showed me how weak the Kingsong 16X was, to be honest, because and I was light. I was pretty skinny back then because I was on like an all fruit diet, and yeah, I probably weighed like 60 kilos, to be honest. The Sherman has never cut out on me like that in braking or ever in acceleration either. So that was my only cutout on the 16X. Freaking, it's so bright out here, guys. I can barely, damn. Hopefully the sun doesn't mess up the video, but I've got to do it like this. And so the Sherman has cut out from before I took my long break. It was 6 months off. My last video was 2 days ago. Before that, if you look, I had a 6-month break. And some stuff has happened in that time. Before that 6-month break, I had 2 cutouts on my Sherman. And they were both in the mall, walking, trolleying the Sherman, right? Going walking speed, 5 kilometers an hour, 3 miles an hour roughly. And it cut out just like that. I was walking, you know how you trolley your wheel, and then suddenly I felt something weird, and I looked at my wheel and it was off. You know, the screen was off and everything. And I was like, what? So it just turned itself off. And I thought it was broken. I was like, what? So it died. But I pressed the power button and it just turned straight back on. And that's it. It just worked perfectly after that ever since. And that was 10,000 kilometers ago, you know, so it's never cut out again. It only ever cut out while walking. But in this 6 months while I've been away, I had 2 more of those incidents, guys, on my other Sherman. So the Sherman Max is where it happened to me before, and it was in a big mall. You know those big giant malls, indoor? The next time it happened on my regular Sherman, it was in a smaller mall. So it was still in a mall. How weird is that? And I was walking also. But it happened twice in a row. It happened twice in the space of a minute. And it was kind of funny because when it first happened, it cut out, right? And because, think about it. When you're walking with your EUC, you're pushing the handle forward, the trolley handle. And because it cut out, it made me tilt forward a bit. But then it turned back on immediately. So unlike the other Sherman where it just turned off and I had to press the button to get it on, this thing just turned itself back on. And because it was leaning forward, it tried to accelerate. Because you know how the wheel works, it accelerates when you lean forward, right? So it did this burnout inside the mall. It was so smoke and dunk like rubber and everything. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, to be honest, because I'm doing a burnout inside the mall with this thing that no one even knows what it is. They probably think it's a bomb. And yeah, so I didn't look at anyone. I just walked out of there casually. On my way out, right, so I'm walking out of this place, it cuts out again on my way out, but it didn't do a second burnout, thankfully. But it cut out again, and then I can't remember if I had to turn it back on or something. I can't remember, but it did cut out twice in the space of a minute. So what the hell is going on there? Like, why does it only cut out while you're walking? What, like, makes you think that can it cut out while you're riding? Of course it can, but is it related? Like, because of course I lost confidence when it cut out, especially when the second time, because it happened twice in a row. I was like, dude, you know, I don't feel safe riding this home now because, you know, just cut out a minute ago. Like, it could cut out again. And it took a while to get my confidence back up. It was like 1,000 kilometers ago on that particular wheel, like regular Sherman. And yeah, my confidence is back basically, but what is going on? And some people said in my like video from ages ago, from the first incident like this on the Sherman Max, they said that it's got Wi-Fi inside it, and that's why this is happening. Wi-Fi? Why? Why would you have Wi-Fi on an EUC? Right? And if you did, why would it have a setting where if it gets a certain signal, it just turns off? What sense does that make? Unless the freaking Chinese who made this implemented this like system where they can just cut everyone out, you know, if they need to. You know, I can't think of anything else. But no, I don't think they even have Wi-Fi, to be honest, guys. Like, I've opened these wheels a bunch of times. I've never seen a Wi-Fi module in there. It's got Bluetooth. Actually, I could be wrong, you know. It's possible it does have Wi-Fi, but I don't think so. But even with Bluetooth, this could be like, you know, theoretically, they could have designed it like this. So if it receives a certain Bluetooth signal, it could do whatever it wants. You could make it cut out, spin up to top speed or whatever. And yeah, those are the explanations I can think of. But, you know, aside from that, I've done like 30,000 kilometers all up on my Shermans. And those are the only cutouts I've had at walking speed and only in malls. So it seems pretty reliable, to be honest. But there's still that question that lingers. Why did it cut out? Just 3 times now. Always in the same, it's always in a mall. And you know what, guys? It actually gives credence to that theory, because in a mall, you've got a lot more signals going on. You know, you've got heaps of like, you know, mobile, everyone's got a mobile phone. There's, you know, 1,000 people in there with phones, and the mall itself must have some powerful, like, you know, internet setup, you would imagine, you know? So it gives credence to that theory, doesn't it? Interesting. It's actually making me start to think that maybe it does have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi? That's what I ask. Wi-Fi? Why Wi-Fi? I mean, well, at least, you know, it keeps you kind of like, it keeps you in check kind of thing, because when you have one of those incidents, it just makes you ride a bit safer for the next like 1,000 kilometers. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe that's the feature, guys. Some crazy bastard thought of that. You know, because it's only ever happened at below 5 kilometers an hour, right? So maybe it's set up so if you're going below 5 kilometers an hour, the thing decides, yeah, I can cut out now. Nothing much will happen. You're only going 5 k's an hour. The dude might just like tumble over or something. But above a certain speed, the thing just never cuts out. Like, maybe it's not by design. Maybe it is just an accident as well. Like, it could just be that above a certain speed, you've got too much current going through or something, and it just can't cut out. I don't know. But interesting, isn't it? But they're reliable, and you've got to consider that these things are cheaply made, and they've taken so many shortcuts. You know, the shortcuts, like, look at Gotway. Look at their wiring. It's like a rat's nest. You know, you got wires that are like half freaking bare, nearly touching the main board, just waiting to start a fire, just waiting to burn buildings down. Literally, like, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't know if you've all seen it, but when one of these things goes off, it's like a weapon of war. You've got flames shooting out like 10 meters, 30 feet flames. It's insane. Like, look at some footage. You'll be like, maybe don't, because after you see that, it scares the shit out of you, because if that would have happened in anywhere, it's going to burn down the whole place. It doesn't matter where you are. The freaking Burj Khalifa, it would burn the whole building down, you know? Because when you got those kind of flames going on, you're going to set something else on fire, and then it's just going to grow, isn't it? So, yeah, it's pretty dangerous in that sense. But my point is that they're cheaply made things, and they're still super reliable. So imagine if they had multiple levels of like computing systems where, like, if one computer fails, you know, the computer and all the gyroscopes that are connected to it, then you've got another set in parallel so that could take over. And just that alone would make it 100 times more reliable again. So I look forward to that future where you just ride with uber confidence, you know, the chance of cutting out is less than getting struck by lightning, you know? Like aircraft have this kind of backup system implementation where you got like redundancy, you know, high levels of redundancy. Pretty cool stuff. That's about it, like, for this video. That's all I was really gonna say. But something exciting, someone told me the Veteran Lynx goes 120 k's an hour, like the newest, fastest wheel. 120, that's crazy. The level of power these things produce is like phenomenal when you compare it to anything biological. For instance, the fastest land animal goes like, you know, 100 k's an hour. This thing, not this thing, you know, the next wheel, the newest wheel, it goes faster than that with a person on top that weighs like 4 times more than it, you know, because it can, I don't know how much, let's say 3 to 4 times, but you know what I mean. It's kind of crazy. This thing's a little freaking powerhouse beast. Like, it's just such a condensed little ball of power, you know. It's like, I love it. And it's not like, I worked it out, right? The power to weight ratio, if you scaled it up to 1 ton, it would only have 500 horsepower, which, you know, it's still a lot, but there's supercars that beat that. So it's not like, you know, it could be better. Actually, sorry, no, I'm wrong. That was with the Sherman. I haven't calculated, I don't know what the Lynx produces. So if one of you guys can comment how many watts or kilowatts does the Lynx produce at peak? Not sustained, at peak. And we might be talking about 1,000 horsepower per ton. So on par with supercars now, perhaps. I don't know, we've got to work it out, guys. But these things are crazy. I love them. And yeah, that's about it. Like, I've got more topics, but I don't want to talk about them now because, you know, I want to make them their own videos and stuff. So yeah. Same place again. And there was ducks all around here just a bit ago. I don't know where they wandered off to. There they are. I don't know if you saw them earlier in the video after review the footage. But yeah, that's it, guys. We'll end it here. And see you in the next one.